Hey, what is up, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Technical Difficulties. Please, in the chat, let me know if anything sounds weird, because this episode is going to be a little finicky on my computer because I'm running two different versions of mixing software. Because this episode is all about how to set up VoiceMeeter. If you're not familiar with what VoiceMeeter is a virtual mixer that will allow you to separate audio sources on your computer. So if you are ever wondering, how does someone have music playing in the background while they also have Discord or Zoom or anything going on in the background, how do they make that happen? Well, the answer is they either use a physical or a virtual mixer. And physical mixers are incredibly expensive, so most people don't have them. What most people turn to is VoiceMeeter. And when you look at it, and you'll see, if you saw it in the thumbnail and you see it when I first pull it up, it looks very daunting, but it's actually super easy to set up, and I'm gonna walk you guys through it. So let's get into it first. And the first thing that I always am gonna start with is where to find everything that you need. So first place you gotta go, just search VoiceMeeter on Google or whatever your search engine you want to use, and it's gonna pull up the VoiceMeeter VB website. Just click on audio apps, and then what you're gonna need for this particular setup is the virtual audio cable, which is free, and you can click on any of the VoiceMeeter apps. And when you download one, it will actually download all of them for you. And then you can pick which particular one you want to use. All right. So that's all there is to it as far as getting it. For anyone who's worried about, well, how much does it cost? It doesn't cost anything. VoiceMeeter, all three versions are free. The only little caveat I would tell you is for VoiceMeeter Potato. If you want to use it without the 6-hour time limit where they give you like this little thing that says, hey, donate to VoiceMeeter. If you want to use it without that, you've got to pay. It's like, I think like $50, and then that'll get rid of that. All right. But otherwise, it's totally free. If you don't have a problem with the 6-hour time limit, then you don't need to worry about it. All right. So let's bring up VoiceMeeter itself. Hold on. Let me... why is VoiceMeeter not working? Alright, that's weird. You guys shouldn't be seeing a display capture. You should be seeing VoiceMeeter. Ah, there we go. Okay, so we're gonna look at VoiceMeeter. There we go. We got it up on the screen now. So first things first, we're gonna set up your mic source for VoiceMeeter. All you gotta do, you come over here, you can change the name to whatever you want if you right click, and then just hit enter, and then you'll click right here, right underneath the name, and then you'll select whatever mic input you want to use. If you have a microphone like mine, like the Wave 3, you could go through Wavelink into VoiceMeeter into something else, but that's incredibly complicated. So I'm just gonna pick mic in. Boom. All right. If you hear audio cut out during the stream, there's nothing wrong. It's the actual audio engine for VoiceMeeter resetting every time I mess with one of the settings. All right. The next thing I would tell you to do is set up these outputs right here. All right. So these, the A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, all correspond to these sliders over here, and then B1, B2, B3 slide to correspond to these three right here. All right. So now, as you see, my mic one is going up and down as I talk, and then I stop talking, and then that one goes all the way down. So see, this one is your mic. All right. This one right here is the music that's playing currently. All right. So then from there, what I'm going to do is set up your actual output so you can listen to this as it's going. as you're making your changes. So all you do is you come up here to hardware out, and then you have 5 different hardware outs. So if you've got like a bunch of different headsets, or you want it to come into headphones and speakers or whatever, you can set up however you can set up to 5. So you just click on whichever one you want to do and then pick the output. So I have it outputted to my headphones, which are plugged into my speaker. So output speaker, boom, resets. Now I can hear the music again. All right. Now we're going to get into setting up all of the different little audio sources that you're going to bring in. So a lot of people are going to want to bring in music, probably a voice app like Discord, or if you're on a Zoom call, or, so on and so forth. And then your browser. So say like you're watching a YouTube video on stream and you want your stream to be able to hear the video. So you're going to need your music, your communication, and then your browser. All right. The problem with that is no matter what version of VoiceMeeter you get, you only get 3 virtual outputs. So the difference between virtual outputs and physical outputs is that your 5 physical outputs that are over here on the left-hand side of your screen are all things that actually plug in to your computer. These 3 here are things that you can assign that are 2 programs on your computer. So they're all virtual. All right. Now what you can do is if you go back to that VoiceMeeter website, where is it? There we go. Let's pop that back down again. All right. You go and you download the virtual audio cable. All right. So you can get 1 virtual audio cable for free. And then if you need more, you can have up to 5. If you need more, you can pay for them. They're donationware once again. So it's pay your means. It's not a necessarily set price. All right. But that's what you do. So go ahead. You're going to just download the virtual cable on whatever operating system you have. Granted, VoiceMeeter does not work on Apple, but you can use the virtual cable on Apple products. All right. So if you're having an issue where you just need like 1 more virtual cable on Apple, you can still use this. All right. So download it. It's going to come in a zip file. You're going to have to extract it in order to run the installer. You just run the installer. Bingo, bango. You're done. Boom. All right. Now let's get back into VoiceMeeter. Let's close that out. All right. So back into VoiceMeeter. All you're going to do, once again, right click on the name, name it browser, hit enter, left click on the input device, and then you just select VB audio virtual cable. Boom. You'll hear the audio engine reset, and now your browser is set. Then now you want to get your music onto the music slider, right? Here it is. It's going to be VoiceMeeter Vio 3. All right. So how you get into this, and how you set this up, let me get into my next capture. We're going to go into a display capture. All right, cool. Bring that up. All right. And now I'm not going to be able to see. So if I mess up, just let me know. All right. So now you bring up, oh, Jesus. Okay. I have so much stuff open. I'm sorry, guys. All right. So what you're going to want to do to start setting this up, you come down here, right click on your little speaker, boom, open sound settings. Now you open that up, you're just going to scroll on down to, or actually first things first, or actually you don't need to worry about that. Don't worry about it because it'll actually automatically update when you do something later for the next app I'm going to show you. So click on app volume and device preferences, click on that. And then you're just going to scroll down and find your music player of choice. Now, understand you have to have the program open in order for it to show up in this. All right, so it has to be open in order for it to show up. So I've got iTunes open. All I do, click on the drop down menu for input, and then select the virtual input that I want my music player to be assigned to. So boom, Vio 3, it's already set because I needed it set for this. And then bang, done. All right. Now, you can do that for any number of programs, but just understand that if you have more than one program assigned to that input, one slider will adjust the volume for all of those programs. So if you're like me and you have like a YouTube video, but you always have background music, if I assign them to the same slider, that slider will adjust the volume of my YouTube videos and my music at the same time. All right. So one benefit of that is if you want things to be ratioed to where it's like you want the music to always be 50% softer than, you know, X program, you can set the volume in the program to what you want it. And then every time you move it, it'll keep that ratio. All right. So it's just something you have to be aware of. Now, the next thing is, how do you set up Discord, right? So Discord is a little bit more complicated. The way you set Discord up is, first things first, go into Discord. You're going to go to voice and video and just make sure your input and output device are set to default. All right. The reason you want them set to default is because what you're going to do is you're going to go once again, you know, right click, open sound settings, but then this time you're going to click on sound control panel. All right. And then that's going to bring up this little window right here. And then you're going to scroll down until you find, where it is. Here it is. All right. Until you find this. So you're going to get, hold on, let me minimize that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to set your default output device, or your default, input channel, which is, for us, you want everything to go on the desktop channel, which is right here, VoiceMeeter Vio. So you just right click and then set as default device. And then that will set, this slider will control all volume on your computer for all programs. And then for Discord and any other communication programs, so that's Zoom, Skype, Google Hangouts, whatever, you set default communication device output, and then you just right click and then set again as default device, and it will set it. Oh, whoops, sorry. That's not the way that's supposed to work. That is not what you're supposed to do. So set default. Okay, so if you set default device and it's already selected, it'll automatically change it to default communications device. If you right click and see the option for default communication device, that's the one you want to pick. All right. So then now this slider controls Zoom and the volume of any communication, labeled communication program. So anything that's labeled by Windows as a communication program will automatically be controlled by that slider. Doesn't take any setup as long as the input and output are set, as long as the output is set to default, it will default to this channel and this slider. All right. If I'm going too fast or anything like that, just remember, this is going to be a VOD. You can rewind it even in the middle of a live stream and go back. And just while we're at it, just take a second to like the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And what I'm going to get into now is, let's get back into OBS, get this display capture off, and get VoiceMeeter back up. Now, how do you get the right channels outputting? That's what these buttons right here next to all the sliders do. All right. So I don't want to hear my headphones or hear my microphone in my headphones, right? If I do, and I want that echo, and I'm sorry, there you go. You see, I click A1, and now everything from that channel is going out to the A1 device that we set earlier. So click A1 for the browser, A1 for my desktop audio, A1 for comms, and A1 for music. All right. Now, if you want to, what you can do, and this is where things can get a little like wonky. If you can actually set up what's called a sub mix, where you could actually have a monitor mix where one thing is playing in your headphones, where something else is going out to your stream. And that's where these multiple outputs comes into handy, and the multiple being able to set things up. Because then what I could do is where, you know, A2 is everything that goes out to my stream, and then I turn off A1 for the music, and then I no longer hear the music, but you guys do. But I like hearing the music for my streams, so I always have it on. But that's something that you can set up, and that's why you want to have something like this, because it allows you to separate all those different audio sources out, and then you can control them individually. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been watching a streamer, and then their teammates are just so freaking loud that you can't hear them or the music or whatever is going on, or the game is so loud that you can't hear their teammates. Having a virtual mixer like this allows you to separate and meter all of those things, and that's why this software is invaluable, and it's also why it's damn it, I forgot the word I was looking for. Thought will come back to me. Don't worry about it. So what I'm going to do now is open it up for any questions. If anybody needs a specific issue answer, like if I went too fast, or if they want me to go back and just retouch on something, now's the time. Either drop it in the chat, or if you really want to be helpful and support the channel, streamelements.com/Berkmaid/tip. Please, you can tip there with your question or a technical issue, and I will read it out. And actually, let me open up that page so that I can see it. So if any come in, I know, because I don't have alerts set up on this stream. There we go. All right, now I'm looking at it. So if you guys send anything in, I will see it. So I know last week I had a easy way versus a hard way to bring people's video streams into your streams. I'm sure someone is going to ask, is there an easier way to set a mix, submix? Is there more user-friendly mixing software? And the short answer is currently no, there is not. The only real option that you have for an easier setup for audio mixing is if you buy this microphone, the Elgato Wave 3. It comes with software from Elgato called Wave. It's called Wavelink, and that software is, I would almost say, superior audio mixing software to VoiceMeeter. The only problem is it only works with this microphone. It doesn't work with all microphones. So if you have an expensive microphone already, you don't want to shell out another $130 for this one just for that software, because you're essentially only paying for the software. When you have an option that works, granted it's a little more complicated, but it's free. Okay. Brandon Buck has a great question. Is it possible with VoiceMeeter to mix two audio sources. For example, playing Netflix in your left ear and YouTube in the right ear. It is possible, and let me see if there's a way to show you how to do that on here specifically. All right, so the easiest way to do it is, I'm trying to remember. Okay, so let me pull VoiceMeeter back up, and then so I can show you. All right, Buck, the way you would do something like that, all right, is if you're gonna use Netflix. Okay, so here's where it gets a little complicated, because I imagine that you're using Netflix, and you can let me know in the chat that you're using Netflix in a web browser, right? If you're using it in a web browser, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, and it's actually going to require you to have more than one virtual audio cable, if I remember correctly. All right. Or no, actually, never mind. I just realized there is a way to do it. So set everything up the way that I showed you. And then what you're going to do is set one browser to that virtual audio cable output. So the output for, say, Google Chrome, right? You're going to have to open it in two browsers. That's the only caveat, is you'd have to open it in two different browsers. So you open one thing here in or no. Oh no, you're talking about watch alongs with somebody else for a second. I thought you were talking about watch alongs on your own channel. Yes, if you're doing a watch along with someone else, the way I was thinking of is the way to do it. So you'd have to open it in two separate browsers. So you'd have to open Netflix in one browser and open the YouTube in another browser, and then set the output. So like I showed you for, hold on, I'll do it right now to show you an example. All right, let me just get Edge and Chrome both open. Okay. And then let me pull up the display capture so you guys can see my entire display. All right, so you've got Chrome and you've got, I've got Chrome and Edge both open. So where I showed you before, sound settings, and then get those open, and then that app and volume device preferences again. And then when you set, okay, why? Oh, that's right. You have to have something, not only do you have to have them open, you also have to have sound playing in the apps. Okay. So open it, play a sound, and then run, just like right here, you can click the audio device, set one to the virtual audio cable, and then set the other one to either, you know, aux, VIO. It doesn't actually matter. Just pick one of the two. Okay. And then that will give you the ability to control them separately. All right. So once you do that, let me get off this display capture and get back to, whoops, no. There we go. Now I got the right things open. Once you've got that set up, then what you can do is on up here, you right click until you get to this one, the position diagram, and then you just move it to the left or the right for whichever browser this would be. So if this is your Netflix browser and you want it in your left ear, you just move it all the way over to the left. And then what you do over here on whichever one that you picked, right? So I'm going to do it with my music because it's playing right now. You just move it all the way over to your right ear. And then now, oh, no, sorry. Move it to the left if you want it on the right. Move it to the right if you want it on the left. My bad. I forgot that it's opposite. So if I want it in my right ear, I drag it all the way to the left. And now it's only in my right ear. I can't hear it in my left ear at all. Right? And then do the same thing up here. So put it opposite of the ear that you want it to be in. All right? And then that will give you now, if I played something on YouTube, it would come up in my left ear. All right? Does anyone else... I'm sorry that was a super long-winded, like, roundabout way of letting you know that. Hold on, give me a second. Let me fix this because it's driving me. Yeah, I think Brandon, it's because of the it's similar to like when you give stage directions. It's not from your perspective, even though that's how you see it on the diagram. It's imagining that it's the output is coming at you, if that makes sense. And I bet that looks so weird on camera, me doing this to myself. But yeah, it's imagining that the output is coming from in front of you to you, if that makes sense. If anyone has any other questions, please go ahead, send them in, streamelements.com/Berkmade/tip. Buck, that was a great question, and it's not something that I even thought about, to be honest. Because I use a completely different audio setup. I have Wavelink, and I have that software. So I use that. If anyone... Hold on. I'll even pull it up so that you guys can see how much easier it is to use. Give me 1 second so I can set up a window capture so you guys can see it. All right. Cool. Wavelink. Boom. All right. So I'm going to bring Wavelink up real quick so you guys can see it. And I'll show you how much easier it is to use than what VoiceMeeter is. All right. So if you want to know if there's an easy way to do this, this is the easy way to do it. The software is called Wavelink. It is only available currently to use with Elgato microphones like this one, the Wave 3, which is my suggested microphone for anybody that is just getting started and is just getting in. And the main reason is because of this software, the Wavelink software. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can see my cursor. Okay, cool. All right. So in Wavelink, you guys can see the meter moving right now. That's my microphone, right? And then the only kind of finicky thing right now is you're not going to see any of the other audio because I have it all going into VoiceMeeter right now. None of it is coming into Wavelink. But every single one of these sliders controls half of a mix. Or sorry, everything that goes into Wavelink is then separated into two mixes. You automatically get a mix. You get a submix, or sorry, a monitor mix, and then a mix that goes out to your stream, right? And then on every single one of these inputs, which you can have up to 9 of, these are all virtual. All of these are virtual inputs. So you can put up to 9 different programs on different sliders. So if I want my stream to hear me talk, but I don't want to hear me talk, right? I don't want to hear myself. I can mute the microphone to my headphones, keep it going out to the stream. I can do the same for Discord, right? Which is what I have on this one normally. I can have all of my audio going out to the stream, and then I don't hear it in Discord. Or I can have none of it going out to the stream, but I can hear it in Discord. Same with music, browser. This is my sound pad, my system sounds even. So if I don't want the stream to hear like an alert on my computer, but I want to be able to hear it, I can mute that to the stream. And then all you do down here is you separate, okay, what is the monitor mix? Where do I want the monitor mix to go? I want it to go to my headphones, which are plugged into my speakers, so I have it go out to speaker. And then your stream mix, all right, and then it tells you immediately how to figure out how to do it in your stream, right? All you got to do is click on that streaming software that you're using, and it'll give you it'll take you to a web browser tutorial of how to set it up. And then for setting up the individual programs, all you do is click this button right here, and it takes you right into it. So I can't do it right now because I've got VoiceMeeter stuff set up, but all you do right here, click Wavelink, and then it'll set all that stuff up for you. And all you have to do, pick the program, set it to what you want it to, which one of these inputs you want it to be on, and then all you got to do is there's where you can control it. And if you have a Stream Deck, all of these sliders and things can be added to buttons on your Stream Deck, and you can control it with a Stream Deck, and you don't even need to have the program open, which is what I do. And all of these, you can rename them to whatever you want them to be. And so like I could rename this to, Netflix if I wanted to. All right. And that's why this software is so much simpler. You don't have to download virtual cables or anything crazy. You just download the software. It's super simple, super easy to use. And that's the easy way to do it. The only problem is you cannot get the software by itself to work with any microphone. You can only get the software with a Wave 1 or Wave 3 microphone. So I haven't gotten any more questions. Yep, no more questions. So I'm going to call it for this stream. Please, once the stream is over, leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, you can find me everywhere at BurkeMade for anything that I'm doing. Please keep tabs, keep up, and check out all the other stuff that's coming on the channel. Friday, I've got Dessert Men Live with Aiden Kosek. Then next week, I've got the usual shows with a new show. Saturdays are for anime with a beautiful panel of people that will be coming on as we talk about Darker Than Black. We watched the first season, and we're going to talk about whether or not we're going to keep watching and finish the show. So please check out the rest of the content. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And that is the show.